I'm Eric.
And I'm Ash.
And this is The Hash.
With Eric and Ash. So, what are we talking about?
We are talking about how to stay on track, stay healthy, reach your fitness goals while living a busy lifestyle, because I don't know about you guys, but life's busy.
It is.
And I feel like people always are like, oh, I'm going to do this when life slows down, or I'll do, I'll focus on this when life slows down a bit. But I don't know about you.
It never slows down.
Like
Let's be real. People like to say that, but it never slows down. There's always something.
And I feel like, you might have like a slow week or a slow day, but if we're looking at the big picture here, which, again, talking about health and fitness, you should be looking at the big picture. Life doesn't slow down. So Ash, how would you, how do you, because I know you're busy as heck, have been ever since I met you, only getting busier. How do you do it?
Planning. Planning is the key to getting things done, because it takes away that having to figure out part the next day. If you plan everything and you wake up, you know exactly what you have to do, you just have to do it. But when you don't plan and you just wake up and you have to think about, oh, what do I have to do? That just takes so much time and effort when you could have just been doing the thing as opposed to trying to figure out what to do. So planning is the biggest thing. And I know that some people hate planning. I love it. I always have. Mm-hmm. So I try to empathize with people that don't like it, but I still fall off sometimes and don't plan. Like, I still have days, weeks where I'm just like, I think last week I didn't plan anything. Yeah. And I got nothing done.
So when you say planning, like, I know for you at this stage, right, doing the healthy things, eating the healthy meals, moving your body, that's more or less on autopilot. So I feel like, there is a bit of planning to that. And for you, I'm sure like the planning is a little bit more like, work stuff, business stuff, all that kind of stuff. But
it's everything.
It is everything. How do you, I thought that was all. Specifically, like, how do you plan?
So I used to be that person that was like, oh, I want a cute planner. It's going to be so cute and I'm going to use it every single day. And then I would use it for a couple months and then I'd be like, this is not working for me, because everything changes. And so using technology to your advantage, and what I do and what I help my clients with is essentially listing out everything you need to do that week. So, and then listing it out by priority. So obviously, for most people, work is number one. You have to do that. You don't have an option. So it's like, again, listing out everything you need to do. And maybe that's meal plan. Maybe you need an hour to meal plan. Maybe you have 3 workouts a week and that's 3 hours. So again, like allocating, prioritize it. First, list everything out, then prioritize it, then allocate time. So then you can kind of look and time block your days. Mm-hmm. And I know that's probably not making sense from a visual standpoint, but it's so easy if you just take the time to do it. But it, like, once you do it, it just starts to become so easy. But like, it's prioritizing and allocating time. So you're not like winging it and being like, oh, I didn't make dinner, so I'm just going to call an order because I'm tired. I need to get up early.
Yeah. And something that I would throw on to that I've found over the years, especially when planning or like, setting a specific time aside to do specific things, is that roughly things take about almost exactly twice as long as I expect them to. Maybe not. Sure. Maybe people have, the listeners have a better way of gauging, their time and stuff. But what I found is that things typically take twice as long as I expect them to. So that hour-long workout, cool. That workout might be an hour, but by the time, if you really looked at it, like everything, like getting dressed, maybe having that pre-workout meal or having, slamming that pre-workout, actually getting in the car, driving there, going to the bathroom, setting your stuff down, hopping on the, and then, then you do your hour workout. And then on the flip side, maybe you go to the bathroom again, you grab your stuff, you get in the car, get the right song going, there's traffic, you get back, you get home, you shower, you have that pre-workout shake. It's like 2 hours. And so,
yeah, just being realistic with yourself. And that's why I like having technology so you can kind of adjust.
Yeah.
Because planners, once you write something down, I don't know about you, but I don't like a messy planner.
Yeah.
Like everything.
No, I hate that. I have a super nice planner right now that I was gifted that it was like a 60-day thing. And, you know, I was reading it, like the front little part, getting all inspired. Like, oh, you know, use this for 60 days. Like, it changed all these people's lives. And I think I did it for like 3 days.
Yeah.
And it's just...
But it's about finding what works for you.
Yeah.
Like maybe that planner is the magical key for you and that works for you and that's amazing. But you just have to put in the time to figure out and try different things and figure out what actually does work for your life.
Okay. Cool. So tip number 1, planning. That's Ash's.
What's your tip number 1?
Ash's tip. I think that it kind of goes hand in hand, but prioritizing. Mm-hmm. You know, I had this teacher in high school, shout out Mr. Jackson.
Whoop, whoop.
Whoop, whoop, that it was something super simple. Just like, if it's important, you'll make it important.
True.
And kind of just meaning, you know, like, if this is something that matters to you, gosh, Luna's running around here. I'm just worried she's going to take out the light, the camera, something. But yeah, basically, you know, if it's important, you'll make it important, meaning, you know, like if it is important, you'll find the time
I have a client example.
Way or another. Let's hear it.
So one of my clients, one of my older clients. She has a couple kids. She commutes to the city multiple days a week. I think like 4 out of 5 days a week. Like, again, mom, wife, you know, career, commutes to the city. She could easily tell me, Ashley, I don't have time to track my food. It's just not feasible for me. And she's never said that to me once. She tracks her food every single day. She literally went to New York and tracked her food the whole time. Damn. I told her, I was like, you're going on vacation. You do what you want to do.
Yeah.
And she tracked every single thing. And she hits her macros every single time. And she's lost like 25 pounds. So when people say, I don't have time, it really is about prioritizing. And it's like, how badly do you want to feel good?
Well, and then I think tying this all together is like taking responsibility.
Yeah.
You know, it's so easy to just be like, oh, I don't have time to do this. Cooking healthy meals is expensive. Cooking healthy meals it takes forever. It's so much easier to do this. It's like, that might be true. That might not be. But it's like, okay, so like, does that mean it's impossible? Like, does that mean that, you know, telling yourself that story is more important than, hey, I can do this. I can figure this out. I can make this change, you know?
Yeah.
So I think, just taking responsibility.
Yeah. Instead of like blaming external factors, I would just challenge you to, you know, look inward and ask yourself why it's so hard.
Yeah. And I get it. I mean, it's so much easier to just, well, at least in the short term. And I guess that's the other thing too, is like, you know, looking at the bigger picture, like especially when your life is busy, you're trying to make this change, looking at the bigger picture, what you really want in the end. And this goes for just like reaching any type of goal, right? You know, whether you want to have $1 million business or shredded 6-pack abs or whatever the case may be, you know, you want this end goal, but it's so far away. And so it can be so easy to just take the short-term pleasure, but that's just going to push that long-term goal off even further into the future. And so I think keeping your eye on the prize, for lack of a better word.
And if you're super busy and you really want to make changes, one, set a clear goal. So you're not just like, oh, I'm kind of going to do it. And then kind of like disappoint yourself because you half-ass it.
Yeah.
And then also start small. Instead of, again, I've mentioned this, I think, on our last podcast. Instead of trying to change everything at once, make small changes over time if you are that busy, you know? Because then you do one small habit change that starts getting implemented in your life and feels easy. You don't have to think about it. Mm-hmm. Then you do the next thing and you just kind of keep adding on from there until these little tiny changes lead up to huge changes over time. Yeah. But again, I think like setting clear goals, because if you're kind of like half-assing it and kind of telling yourself you're going to do it and then you don't do it, you're just going to lose trust in yourself. And the more you set goals and reach them and accomplish them, you just start to build trust in yourself that you can accomplish anything.
Mic drop.
It's true though, because I feel like at an early age, the confident people are the ones that are like good at sports and like accomplish things and stuff like that, because they built this trust with themselves and they think they can accomplish anything.
Yeah.
And I feel like that like has happened after college for me, is when I started like, whoa, I can like,
I'm a badass.
I can do anything I put my mind to, because I built up that trust with myself.
Yeah. Well, what is that, Henry Ford? It's like, whether you can or you can't, you're right. Or whether you think you can or you can't, you're right.
Oh, love it. All ties back to mindset.
Yeah. Okay, so planning, how to bring this all full circle here, how to stay healthy, reach your goals, get in shape with a busy life. You got to plan, you got to prioritize, and you got to take responsibility. So I feel like those are some kind of like big picture stuff. What about like the nitty gritty, like the actual like tactical, okay, that's great. Got my week planned out. What should I plan? How should I do it? I think, do you have anything come to mind there?
Do you?
Yeah.
I feel like you have something, so go ahead.
Again, I kind of like to break out getting in shape, health, and there's kind of like three main pillars, movement or training, nutrition, and lifestyle. And so I feel like in terms of training, working out, you got to cut the fluff. Right? If you're so busy and you don't have time to do it, we got to cut all the bullshit. And so I think really getting down to, the type of workouts, the type of exercises that are going to get the most bang for your buck, So I think the first thing that comes to mind to me would be like, realistically, people who are super busy, I think 3 days a week is doable for most people. Right?
Yeah.
And I think that coincides nicely with full body workouts. I'm a huge proponent of full body workouts. So that would look like, starting with a lower body exercise and then an upper body exercise and then a lower body exercise and another upper body exercise. And that'll probably be enough, so something like a squat and then like some type of pulling exercise. Maybe that'd be a pull down or a row followed by another lower body exercise, maybe like a leg curl or a Romanian deadlift. And then to round it all out, another upper body exercise like a push, whether that be like a bench press or a shoulder press. Get in there 30, 45 minutes. And if the intensity's there and the consistency's there.
And the focus.
That should be enough.
Like sometimes too, when people take a long time to do things, I feel like it's because people are multitasking or like just not focused on what they're doing. They're kind of like on social media or just like in their own head. And if you kind of... What did we talk about the other day where it's like you can give yourself a certain amount of time and you'll get it done in that time, but if you just give yourself...
The work expands to the amount of time that you give it.
Yeah, so if I'm like, cool, I'm going to go in there and do a 30-minute workout in and out. I could probably do it. Mm-hmm. I could probably do the same workout in an hour if I'm just dilly-dallying around on social media.
Or better yet, I only have 30 minutes. Mm-hmm. I need to get it done instead of like walking in there all the time in the world. And like, I think it's funny. I think both of us kind of realized this when we went from, working for somebody else to working for ourselves. Mm-hmm. When you're working for somebody else and you have something else on the side, you like hit those top priority things. The thing that's going to give you the biggest bang for your buck.
So true.
Because you have to. Your time is limited. I think there's another saying. If you want something done, give it to a busy man or woman or whatever. And so, I don't know where I was going with that.
The nitty gritty of like planning like your workout, like bang for your buck.
Yeah. So
love that.
So I think, there's some tactical stuff on the training side of things. I think as far as the nutrition goes, keep it simple. I think that could be a blanket statement for everything we're talking about here. Keep it simple before complex, because one, that's probably all you need, and two, that's going to be a lot easier to do, especially if you're so busy. Air
Definitely
quotes for
simple,
those listening.
but I just also feel like put in the work at the beginning. in terms of like, especially nutrition and working out, to figure out what you enjoy so you stick with it. Because then if you start associated like, oh, eating healthy is boring because I'm just going to keep it simple, chicken, rice, and veggies. Like, yeah, maybe some person loves that. At Eric. Me, I can't. I get so bored. So if I associated eating healthy and whatever, moving right, oh my God, she's so cute, with chicken, rice, and veggies, I'm going to hate eating healthy and eating right, because it's just like, so that's why I have this like pull between like, you know, being busy and like doing what you can, but also putting in the time and effort to figure out what you like and dislike from the beginning so you can create a lifestyle instead of just doing the things without any intention.
Yeah.
Because someone else is telling you to do it.
Yeah, you know, I think that's huge. I made a post the other day, like, titled, "You should do Zumba."
Yeah.
You know, and it's just kind of talking about, like, you know, exercising is important, right? And there might be an optimal way to do it, or a quote-unquote best way to do it according to the science. But if you hate doing that, if you absolutely, like, hate strength training in the gym, okay, let's find something that does get you active that you can do consistently. Kind of like you were saying, if you hate chicken, rice, and broccoli, and that's what you keep eating, thinking that's what you need to eat in order to be successful with your fitness goals, that's just not the case. You know, there's a lot of different ways to reach your goals nutritionally, and it takes a bit of experimentation. Yeah,
and I think too, on the nutrition side of things, I feel like we don't really meal prep that much, but like there's a couple ways you can do it. Like, I personally don't like eating the same things over and over again, but when I had to go into an office, what I would do is I would like prep a protein, or a couple different proteins, maybe a couple different grains, a couple different veggies, so you can kind of like mix and match and then add different flavors. So you have like the base of everything, but you can create different meals from the same ingredients, if that makes sense. So you're not eating the same, like, you don't have to, I feel like when people think of meal prep, it's like, I have to do chicken, rice, and veggie.
21 meals in plastic Tupperware.
Exactly.
You know, 10 pounds of chicken.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be like that. You can kind of prep the different ingredients. It can be.
If that works for you,
exactly.
It can be. But no, I hear what you're saying. And I used to do that. I used to be the bodybuilder type there. Not that I was a bodybuilder, but I would meal prep like one. And it was great, you know, meal prep Sunday. It worked. It was great, you know, in terms of an efficiency standpoint. But then like Thursday, Friday rolls around, that chicken and that wilted spinach is like looking less and less appealing. And so you just say, fuck it, and throw that away, waste that food, and then go, you know, get something like Chipotle, which could be a great option as well.
Yeah.
But no, I like that. And then I came to my senses, and I would do one of two things. I would like prep individual meals like ready to go for like 3 days. And even that, if you do that twice a week, that's cutting the amount of total cook time down a lot, because I think it's like just as easy to cook 3 servings of something as it is one, you know, for the most part.
Yeah.
Like the difference in time is minor compared to having to start from scratch cooking that stuff multiple times.
Yeah. And then also, like, if you make dinner, like, make enough for leftovers, like
double the recipe, batch. Triple the recipe. Yeah. Yeah, no, I like that too. And then I think that was kind of something else that I would do too. Bulk cook protein, bulk cook rice or potatoes, bulk cook some veggies, or have to only cook those fresh or something, or have fresh veggies with it, are also great.
Or even, like, if you don't like frozen veggies, you could
What are you saying about frozen veggies? That's what we're having for dinner tonight.
That's what we always have. But I'm just saying, if you don't like frozen veggies, you can like...
You're not alone.
Yeah, you're definitely not. But you can pre-chop them. So again, it's not like you are microwaving food for every meal, but you can kind of just do some things to make your life easier throughout the week. Yeah,
I think that's a tip, you know, batch your work. Like, I think the good example here, you know, is like laundry. Like, you don't go start a load of laundry every time you have a dirty pair of underwear, you know, like you wait for it to build up before you go do that again.
Babe, that was a great analogy.
I didn't come up with that. I don't know where I heard it, but
I thought you just made that up. Wow.
No, I'm not that cool. I'm kind of cool, but not that cool.
You're cool.
So yeah, I think that's a great. That's a great tag. I had a voice crack last week, and after we were finished recording, she said she was going to call me out for it. So I beat her to it.
Yeah,
I called myself.
I didn't even really notice that one. Okay, so I feel like we talked about little tools and tactics for nutrition. Movement, we kind of did, but I actually have one other tip.
And that's one thing you can't bulk or do in batch. You can't just work out all day, for 12 hours one day. Like, all right, I'm good for the week.
But like, for example, I'm just thinking like in an office, if you have a lunch break, like go for a walk in the middle of the day if you can. Or like just find little pockets of time, or like take a call and go for a walk if you don't need your computer in front of you. Get an under the desk treadmill, which shout out to Nini.
Yeah.
I use it sometimes, but
I haven't seen it out for a while. I haven't had to move it for you for a while.
Okay, well, I just
but
like
we
to
go
get
on lots
ready,
of walks. Yeah, no.
Okay, so movement, nutrition. I guess we kind of talked about like lifestyle too in terms of like planning everything out.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it really comes down to like the most important thing is like making, if this is a priority, which it might not be. Like you might...
Yeah, you got to get real with yourself.
Yeah, and there's like, I feel like especially now more than ever, and it's probably only going to get worse, there's this like pressure of like, oh, you're not into fitness, or like, oh, you don't want to get like healthy. I mean, I think everyone should be like healthy and maintain a healthy weight and do, live a healthy lifestyle, but like...
For your own benefit.
Yeah, so but like not everyone needs to go get a six pack and get like fucking ripped. And like, so I think getting real with yourself, and you might not want to do that, but if you do, fucking own that shit and like step up to the plate, take responsibility, and get your ducks in a row. Like start planning it out, make it a priority, take responsibility, and take the tips that we gave you here today.
Yeah, love it.
Love you.
Oh, I love you.
Anything else? Anything else you'd want to add to this before we wrap this up?
I think that was a really
pretty bow.
Great kind of overall.
We know you guys are busy, so we don't want to.
We don't want to take up too much of your time.
Too long here. So yeah, hopefully this was helpful. If it was, let us know.
Yeah.
If it wasn't, let us know.
Yeah, also let us know, please.
But yeah, thanks for listening. Catch you on another episode.
Yeah. Deuces.
Peace.